I thought I fixed this last month. But here I am, making the same mistake again. I cleared the space, felt proud, even promised myself it would stay that way. But slowly, the clutter crept back. Sound familiar? You're not alone. For many of us, especially after 60, it's not just about tidying up, it's about changing habits that no longer serve us. In today's video, I'm tackling one of those frustrating spots that keeps resetting itself. I'll walk you through the exact steps I'm taking to break the cycle, for good. No guilt, no pressure, just honest progress. If you've ever felt like you're decluttering the same space over and over again, this one's for you. Together, let's create calm that lasts. No matter how many times I tidy this space, it ends up right back where it started. A little pile here, a stack over there. At first, it's harmless. Then suddenly, it's overwhelming again. Sound familiar? For many of us over 60, the clutter isn't just physical, it's emotional. Items carry memories, just in case, thoughts, or habits we've held onto for years. And when we try to simplify, it feels like we're going in circles. But here's the truth, it's not about being perfect. It's about creating systems that work for where we are now, not where we used to be. Today, I'm resetting this one stubborn spot, the one that keeps collecting clutter no matter how many times I clear it. You know the kind. You tidy it, feel good for a while, and then, like clockwork, it fills up again. This time, I'm not just cleaning it. I'm changing the system that's been silently setting me up to fail. Because decluttering isn't just about tossing things out, it's about making small shifts that actually stick. If you're tired of the endless cycle, stick with me. We're doing this differently today, smarter, not harder. Step 1. Identify the trap. Why does this spot keep collecting clutter? For me, it's convenience. I drop things here without thinking. It always starts with just one item. A receipt I meant to file later. A pair of reading glasses I used for a quick glance. A pen. A piece of unopened mail. One by one, these things land in the same spot. Not because I'm lazy. Not because I don't care, but because it's easy. It's convenient. It's what I've always done. The truth is, every clutter hotspot in our homes tells a story. It's not random. It has a pattern. And the first step to finally resetting that space is to understand why it keeps happening in the first place. For me, this spot is right by the front door, a small tableware. I tend to unload everything the moment I walk in. Groceries, mail, keys, coupons, even random tools I plan to return to the garage. It all ends up there. At the time, it feels harmless, just a temporary holding zone. But the problem? Temporary becomes permanent, and before I know it, I've created a little mountain of, I'll deal with it later. And let's be honest, later rarely comes. So I started asking myself, what's the real trap here? It wasn't the mess itself, it was the habit. The automatic motion of putting things down without giving it a second thought. It was using this space as a pause button for life's little tasks, instead of assigning them a proper home. I wasn't failing at decluttering, I was failing at system design. The space wasn't working for me, it was working against me. This realization changed everything. Because once you identify your trap, you take the first real step toward change. Think about your own home. What's that one spot where things always pile up? A kitchen counter? The chair in the bedroom? The end of the dining table? Ask yourself, what makes that spot such a magnet? Is it the location? Is it too convenient? Or maybe it's the lack of clear storage nearby. Maybe you're like me, and the items you drop there don't have a permanent home elsewhere, so they always come back to this default landing zone. Here's the key. Clutter is often just a series of delayed decisions. I'll put this away later. I might need this soon. I'm too tired right now. And when we delay enough times, we end up overwhelmed by the very space that's supposed to give us peace. So how do we break the cycle? Start by pausing for just a few minutes and observing the space. Look closely. What's actually sitting there? Are the items useful, or are they just in limbo? Are they things you use daily, or are they waiting for a someday that never seems to arrive? Then ask the most important question. What would make this spot not the default landing zone anymore? That one question helps shift your thinking from reaction to design, from clutter to clarity. For example, I realized I was always dropping my glasses and mail because I didn't have a tray or a bin close to the door. Once I added a small labeled basket for incoming items and a real home for my glasses, that simple act reduced 80% of the clutter within a week. Not because I cleaned harder, but because I planned smarter. Remember, decluttering is not a one-time event. It's a system reset. And every system starts by identifying where it's broken. So before you pick up a single thing, take a deep breath and get curious. What's the real reason this clutter keeps returning? When you name the trap, you can finally escape it. You're not just tidying a spot, you're understanding it. And that awareness is more powerful than any storage bin or cleaning hack. This isn't about perfection. It's about progress that lasts. And it starts with noticing. Step 2. Clear it completely. It's time to remove every single item from the space. Not just the obvious junk, everything. And yes, that part matters. There's something powerful about starting with a blank slate. But let's be honest, this part can feel overwhelming. You stand there, staring at that overstuffed surface. And the first thought that hits is, where do I even begin? Here's the secret. You just start. You don't need to know exactly where everything will go yet. You don't have to make permanent decisions right now. All you need to do in this moment is clear the space completely. That means everything comes off the surface, out of the drawer, off the shelf, or out of the basket. Not just the big items, but the little ones, too. The paper clips, the old batteries, the random notes you scribbled and meant to revisit. Even the dust bunnies hiding in the corners. Take it all out. Why is this step so important? Because when clutter builds up in the same spot again and again, it becomes easy to stop seeing it. We get used to it. Our brains blur it out. It becomes part of the scenery. And as we age, that visual noise can start affecting us more than we realize, raising stress levels, reducing focus, even impacting sleep. A cluttered space can weigh on your mind, even when you're not fully aware of it. Clearing it all away gives your brain a moment to rest. It gives your eyes space to breathe. It shows you what the space could feel like, and that emotional shift matters. So here's what I suggest. Grab a box or a basket and gently place each item in, one at a time. Don't sort yet. Don't throw away yet. Just move it out of the space. And don't skip corners. Don't leave that one item you think you'll need later today. Part of what makes this step effective is the full reset. You're not just tidying, you're breaking the pattern by temporarily erasing it. As you do this, notice how you feel. Maybe a little annoyed. Maybe surprised at how much was actually sitting there. Maybe even a little embarrassed. That's normal. We all collect more than we think. And sometimes, we attach emotions to the mess, guilt, shame, even nostalgia. Don't judge yourself for it. Just observe it. You may also start feeling something else, relief. That growing sense of peace when the surface is finally clear. That, moment when the clutter is gone, even if just for a moment. That's the feeling we're after. That's the reason we're doing this. I like to pause for a second after everything is removed. I'll stand there and look at the clean space, not because I'm finished, but because I want to remember what empty looks like. That visual reset is a reminder that clutter doesn't own me. I own this space. This is also the perfect moment to wipe things down. A clean surface can be surprisingly emotional. It's not just physical grime that disappears, it's mental weight, too. That layer of dust that built up under the clutter? It's more than dirt. It's a symbol of everything we've postponed. Once the space is completely clear and wiped down, take a breath. Don't rush to put things back. Let that calm linger for a minute. Give yourself credit. You just took the first real physical step toward creating a space that works for you, not against you. And remember, we're not just clearing to make it look nice. We're clearing to make a decision. A clean space is a question. What deserves to go back here? What has earned its place? That's what we'll explore in the next step. But for now, let this moment settle in. You did it. You cleared the trap. You opened up space for something better. And you did it not because you had to, but because you're ready for a little more peace in your day-to-day life. That's what this reset is all about. Step 3. Sort into clear categories. This step is where I always used to rush. But slowing down here helps avoid doing it all over again in a few weeks. It's easy to think that once you've cleared a space, the hard part is over. And in a way, it is. You've done the heavy lifting. You've taken the mess and hit reset. But what comes next is the step that determines whether the clutter comes back or stays gone. Sorting. Now, I'll be honest, this is the part one used to treat like an afterthought. I do a quick scan, group a few things together, toss a few others, and call it a day. But I'd always find myself decluttering the same area a few weeks later. Why? Because without clear categories, the space doesn't have structure. And without structure, our brains don't know where to put things. So they end up everywhere. So here's the new rule I've learned to follow. Don't skip the sort. Don't rush it. This is where the real change begins. Why sorting matters more than you think. When you sort, you're not just organizing items. You're organizing your life. You're deciding what kinds of things belong in your space and what patterns have been silently controlling it. This step gives your brain a new map. And when you have a map, you stop feeling lost every time something new comes into your home. Start with broad categories. You don't have to overthink this. Begin with simple, broad groups that make sense for your lifestyle. Depending on the space you're tackling, your categories might include: keep, used regularly; keep, seasonal or occasional use; relocate, belongs elsewhere; donate, recycle or trash. You can expand from there as needed. For example, if you're decluttering a kitchen drawer, your keep pile might break down into pens and office supplies, kitchen tools, batteries and chargers, miscellaneous items. Each subcategory becomes a clue. Why are there 5 screwdrivers in my kitchen drawer? If tools belong in the garage, that's something to fix, not just this time, but going forward. Take it slow. This step is emotional too. You might notice emotions start to bubble up as you sort. Guilt over things you never used, stress from things you've misplaced, or even nostalgia over something you forgot you had. That's completely normal. Sorting isn't just physical, it's reflective. You're literally touching pieces of your past, your habits, and your intentions. Give yourself permission to pause if something feels heavy. Ask questions like, when did I last use this? Would I notice if this were gone? Is this helping my life, or just taking up space in it? Sorting with mindfulness, not speed, helps you make decisions that stick. Create a holding zone. If you're feeling unsure about certain items, create a maybe or revisit box. Label it with a date and set a reminder for 30 days. If you haven't missed the item by then, chances are you don't need it. This helps reduce decision fatigue and builds confidence over time. You don't have to force every answer today. Progress is still progress. Give every category a future plan. Once you've sorted your items into clear categories, think about what's next. Where will each category live? What container, drawer, or area will it belong to? Because when things don't have a home, they float. And floating items are the first to become clutter again. Let's say you sorted all your pens and realized you only need 5, not 15. Great. Now you can designate a small cup or drawer just for those. Same with spare keys, batteries, or reading glasses. Each one gets its own spot, so you know exactly where it belongs. A quick note on just-in-case items. During this sorting step, the just-in-case temptation will come up often. You might start creating entire piles of things you might need someday. Try this instead. Limit yourself to one small container labeled just in case. Whatever fits can stay for now, but no overflow. This sets a healthy boundary that keeps your space clear and your mindset focused. Let sorting become a reset ritual. Here's the truth. Sorting can actually be satisfying, even meditative, once you slow down. You're taking control of your space, not in a frantic, rushed way, but in a thoughtful, intentional way that honors your time and your energy. And for those of us navigating the later seasons of life, that intention matters more than ever. We've earned the right to live in spaces that feel calm, clear, and purposeful. Spaces that serve us, not stress us. So take your time with this step. Put on soft music, make a cup of tea if you like, and move at your own pace. Sorting isn't a chore, it's a moment of clarity. It's how we turn mess into meaning. It's how we stop decluttering the same drawer over and over again. It's how we build systems that stick. So take a deep breath, sort with care, and give every item a chance to either serve you or step aside. Step 4. Ask the golden question. Do I actually use this now, or am I keeping it just in case? This is the moment where clarity meets courage. You've identified the trap, you've cleared the space, and now, one by one, you're going to face each item and ask the question that changes everything. Do I actually use this now, or am I keeping it just in case? It sounds simple, but this question has a way of cutting through the noise. It gently forces you to confront what's useful versus what's simply familiar. Because let's face it, after 60, most of us have collected decades of just in case. The extra cables, the birthday candles, The old charger you think might go to something. The lid with no container, just in case you find the container again. It's not that we're hoarding. It's that we've been responsible. We've lived long enough to know things eventually come in handy. And we've been raised in a time when holding on to things was smart, even necessary. But here's what no one tells us. That strategy may have served us at 30. It might have made sense at 45. But now, in this new season of life, that just-in-case mindset might actually be stealing our peace. Because every single item you keep, every pen, paper, box, and bag, takes up more than just physical space. It takes up mental space, visual space, emotional space. And when that space is already full, life feels heavier. So let's go back to that question. Pick up an item, hold it in your hand, and ask yourself, do I use this right now, in this season of my life? Or am I keeping it for a version of me that no longer exists, or may never come? That's not a harsh question. It's a kind one. It invites honesty without judgment. Let's say you find a stack of notepads. You used to write lists on paper every day, but now you use your phone for reminders. Do you still reach for paper? Or are you holding on to it because it feels wasteful to let go? That's not a failure, it's awareness. And awareness is power. Or maybe it's a bag of batteries for a flashlight you no longer use. Or 3 extra scissors just in case. Or backup light bulbs for a lamp you donated 2 years ago. These aren't bad things. But are they serving you now? Sometimes the answer is yes. Great, those items stay. But if the answer is no, or not really, then you have a gentle decision to make. Here's another version of the golden question. Would I go out and buy this again today? If not, why am I still giving it a home in my space? This step isn't about guilt. It's not about waste. It's about freedom. The kind that comes when your environment supports who you are today, not who you used to be, or who you think you might need to be someday. And here's something that might surprise you. The more often you ask this question, the easier it becomes. At first, it feels emotional. You might second guess. You might hold on to something just a little longer. That's okay. Give yourself grace. But eventually, you'll start feeling the shift. You'll hold something up and know this no longer fits into the life you're creating. And letting it go won't feel like loss. It'll feel like relief. You may even start to crave that feeling. The lightness, the space, the calm. One of the most powerful things about this step is how it invites you to be present. Not stuck in the past, not living in the what if, but rooted in the now. Because the truth is, life after 60 is about quality, not quantity. Peace, not piles. Simplicity, not storage. So as you go through each item, ask yourself, kindly and clearly, is this still part of my life now? Or am I holding on out of habit, fear, or obligation? There are no right or wrong answers, only honest ones. This is your space, your peace, your reset. And every time you ask the golden question, you're making a choice to protect it. Step 5. Redesign the space. Instead of just putting things back, I'm creating a purpose for this space, so it won't become a drop zone again. This is the step most people skip, and it's exactly why the clutter keeps coming back. We clear the space, we sort the items, we toss what we don't need. And then what do? We slowly start putting everything back, often without thinking. It feels like the natural next move. But if we're not careful, we're just rebuilding the same system that failed us in the first place. This time, we do it differently. This time, we redesign. Because decluttering isn't just about removing the mess. It's about reimagining how the space can actually serve us. Let me ask you something. What is the real purpose of this space? Not what it's become over time, but what you want it to be. Maybe it's a peaceful entryway, a clean corner for reading, a drawer that only holds what you use daily. When you define the purpose, you create a filter, something that helps you decide what truly belongs and what doesn't. Redesigning a space starts with function. Before you think about how it looks, focus on how it works. Ask yourself, what tasks do I do in this area? What items do I use here regularly? What always ends up here that shouldn't? How do I want to feel when I see or use this space? If this spot became a drop zone in the past, that's a clue. Maybe you need to add something simple like a mail sorter, a key hook, a small bin for glasses, or spare change. Maybe it's not about removing the habit, but redirecting it. Instead of fighting against your natural behaviors, build the system around them. Give everything a home, a real home. This is the magic moment. You've sorted everything. You've cleared the space. Now, only what deserves to return should come back in, and each of those items needs a clear, designated place. If something doesn't have a home, it will become clutter. Every time, keep your most used items within easy reach. Group like items together, all tools in one bin, all chargers in another. Use small containers or dividers to give structure inside drawers. Label things if that helps, especially in areas you access often. Even something as small as a drawer insert can make a world of difference. It's not about being fancy, it's about making decisions easier. When everything has a place, your brain no longer has to ask, "Where does this go?" It knows. And that cuts down on mental fatigue more than you might realize. Redesign is also about flow, how the space fits into the rhythm of your day. If you constantly drop mail near the door, put a small basket there on purpose. Make it neat. Make it intentional. That small change turns a clutter habit into a controlled one. If your nightstand collects too much, consider a drawer insert that limits how much you can stash. Give yourself tools, not rules. Redesign isn't about perfection. It's about creating an environment that works with you, not against you. Here's something I've started doing. Every evening, I take 2 minutes to reset the space I just redesigned. That might mean putting 1 or 2 things back, tossing a flyer, straightening the tray on the table. Just 2 minutes. That's it. When a space has been intentionally designed, it doesn't take long to maintain. That's the beauty of doing this work up front. It frees you from constantly starting over. And here's something else I've noticed. When the space feels good, I want to keep it that way. I respect it more. I notice when things feel off. That's how you know that redesign worked. It changes your habits without you even realizing it. Let's talk about the deeper layer. Because for many of us, especially after 60, our homes are full of memories, history, and meaning. Redesigning a space is more than a practical choice. It's an emotional shift. It's saying, I deserve peace. I deserve ease. I deserve to live in a space that reflects the life I'm living now, not the one I used to live, or the one I was always preparing for. When you take a cluttered, frustrating corner and give it clarity and purpose, you're not just changing your home, you're changing your relationship with time, energy, and control. You're telling yourself, I'm not living in reaction anymore. I'm choosing what stays, what serves, and what feels good. And that's the essence of simplicity. That's the power of redesign. Before you move on, stand back. Look at your newly defined space. Does it feel open? Easy to use? Calming to look at? If yes, well done. If not, don't worry. Tweak it. Test it. You're allowed to make adjustments until it works for you. This isn't about making it Pinterest perfect. It's about making it personally functional. The kind of space that helps you breathe easier, move through your day with less friction, and feel just a little more in control. So instead of just putting things back where they were, build something better. A system, a rhythm, a space with purpose. Because you're not just cleaning up. You're creating a home that honors the life you live now. After retiring, I thought I'd finally have time to sort it all out. The closets, the drawers, the boxes I kept meaning to go through. But what caught me off guard wasn't the time it took. It was the emotional weight. Some days, it feels less like I'm organizing stuff and more like I'm sorting through decades of memories. Each item has a story, a moment, maybe someday attached to it. I picked up something today that reminded me of a time I was always on the go, busy, rushing, planning. But now, life feels different, slower, quieter, and I'm realizing that part of this journey is learning to let go of the someday and focus on today, because peace isn't found in holding on to everything. It's found in choosing what truly matters now. This space used to stress me out. Every time I walked by, it felt like a reminder of something unfinished, another task waiting, another pile growing. But now, it gives me a sense of calm, not because it's perfect, but because it's purposeful. I didn't just clean it, I reimagined it. I made decisions based on what I need today, not what I was holding on to from yesterday. And that shift, however small, changed how I feel in my own home. It's not about having a picture-perfect space, it's about creating one that supports your peace. It's not perfect, but it's progress. And at this stage in life, that's more than enough. What's the one spot in your home you keep decluttering, but it never seems to stay that way? We all have one. Let me know in the comments. I might feature it in the next video and walk through it with you. And if this helped you feel even a little lighter or more in control of your space, give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel reach others who might need this gentle encouragement too. Don't forget to subscribe to Simplify After 60 for more calm, simple resets designed with you in mind.